going on, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Bartales at the Outpost. This is a brand new series for Alterwave where we kind of just take some talented musicians. Aww. We stick them behind a bar and see what happens. So today for our first episode, we do have some very special guests. So I do want to say a warm welcome to Tyler and Callum, the boys from Daste.
Yeah!
Thank you. Awesome. Well, boys, thank you for joining us. What are we making today? What is on the menu?
We're making old fashions today. So, full disclosure, we have never actually made this one before. But we just thought, if we were to walk up to a bar, what would we want? And an old fashioned just sounds like it's got a real cool, classy style. Like an old fashioned, thanks.
Yeah. Have you drunk one before, or is this first time drinking as well?
Really.
This is my first time. Yeah.
Okay.
It's more about the novelty, I think. We just want to look classy.
Yeah, it's very
Come across
suave.
as really cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so we want to first start with the bourbon.
I thought we start with the sugar cube.
What do we have actually, guys? Do you want to lay out what we've got here?
Yeah. So we've got 60 milliliters of bourbon.
That's more than 6 ml, but.
Well, okay, wait.
It's discretionary. We'll
All
use
right.
as much as
We have a
as
bottle
we
of
want.
bourbon, but we'll be using 60 milliliters. 3 to 4 dashes of bitters. 1 sugar cube. Again, there's more than one, but that's on the ingredient list. A few drops of water. Interesting. Orange peel and some cherries. Lovely.
You guys cherry guys or
Not really, no.
Yeah.
We really didn't think about the
ingredients
too much,
list?
but
Yeah.
I did look up top 50 most complicated cocktails, but I think we just,
really? And
yeah. But
I'm guessing old fashioned didn't show up on that.
this was
list.
Callum's idea, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Start making
So
it.
we got 1 sugar cube in the bottom of each glass.
Nice.
Very good. Some orange slices, some bitters to each glass.
Alright, so
1 orange slice and 2 dashes of bitters.
We're going to cut the orange.
We have to cut the orange, yeah.
Just down there. Yeah.
Cut away, mate.
A few inches later.
So I think I've actually done pretty good there.
That's really nice, yeah.
I think that's quite nice.
So does that go into the actual cup?
Yep. Yeah.
Just like that?
One
I feel
per.
like it doesn't.
Does it
When I
go?
saw
Should we
photos of
maybe
it,
should we
it
maybe
did
do
not
it at
do
the
that.
end?
Yeah, let's just leave it here.
Okay.
It's a cool, we'll just cut.
Maybe I'll jump into the bitters then. Is that a dash?
I think we should go a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys.
I agree.
Yeah, there we go. Kind of comes out like hot sauce.
Yeah. So it's saying to muddle the orange and the sugar in the glass, so I think we do need the orange. Or is that talking about the bitters? And what's this for? This is for sure.
This is for sure, but
Okay.
we will use the I don't know what the name of
Alright.
those twirly things are.
Muddle up.
That's the muddler. So
Okay.
now we do put the orange.
I think
slice
put
in there.
the orange slice in.
People that drink an old fashioned are probably looking at this going, "What are you doing?"
I don't know if this is right. It doesn't feel right.
What? The sugar
Good.
cube probably shouldn't be like a cube by the end of it.
We probably look really bad. I hope that some people that work behind a bar watch this video.
Maybe we need some more bitters.
Yeah, actually, it's probably a good idea.
Roast us in the comments.
Ladies, drop a comment below if we've just unlocked a new ick for you.
Oh, that looks good. Yeah.
I feel like it might be a bit chunky still, but maybe when we get I'll give that one to you, Callum. I watched a video with the oranges where they like twirled it around and sat it on top of the drink at the end, and it looked really nice.
You could probably still do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we should look up a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah. What I did want to talk about was the butterfly video. That is such a fun video to watch. Like I imagine for you guys, it was so much fun to make, and the song as well is. Like the video and the song play so well together.
You're so free, but I don't mind. You need space, but I get the time. You're so free, but you're so mine.
It was just so much fun. Like as you said, yeah. Like I think the song was already like had such a fun, summery sort of road trip vibe to it. So we kind of wanted to like show that in the video, show that same sort of vibe. So I was
Yeah.
kind of just driving around to fun locations and
Yeah,
Pretty much just having
weekend
fun.
Before was it? We were just driving. I was 2 weeks before. We just
Yeah.
drove around in Tyler's car, just checking out all these
Oh,
places. And
awesome.
we, like been on Google Maps
Is that-
and stuff like that.
Is that old red Volvo?
No,
Is that one
I
of
wish
your
it
cars?
was. Yeah.
Because I saw that, I thought that was such an awesome little job. It's very vintage.
that was my friend Sam's car, and he's in the video as well.
Oh,
I think
cool.
we're in the singlet.
Yeah. Were any of you kind of worried a little bit that when you were driving? Like,
Yeah, I only got to do one scene driving it, and then when we finished up for the second day, I drove it home, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't have like that power steering.
Oh, okay, so you're always like, yeah, wrapping it around.
Yeah. I feel like I
those
drove
guys
it.
from the 80s have the like big arms and stuff driving the car.
Yeah.
By the end, by the time you pull up, you've just got a full bicep. You're leaning out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I got
awesome.
in trouble a bit. I was driving that the most, I think, throughout like the 2 days we shot it.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I think I've got a bit of a lead foot.
The
The producer on the
Yeah.
assistant director on the crew was just like, you need it.
It's like, Tyler, slow down. We can't even get you on the camera.
Yeah. I think we're up to the
Got some
ice.
medaling.
Whoa.
Is that?
You're a Valley bartender for sure.
Yeah, true. Learn from the best. There we go. That's a bit more sensitive.
Do that one.
Oh wait, we need to measure it.
We've got these down here.
The arm's gone straight into it. Okay.
What is the standard shot? It's 60 mil.
This looks like more than a standard shot to me, but
That's gonna be a tasty dream.
yeah, a little bit extra in those ones. Nice.
Oh, that's good. All right, starting to come together. Should we maybe mix the drink into the sugar that we mashed up?
Yeah, let's do it. Grab
Oh,
one.
thank you, sir.
Get
So
one
when
as
it's
well,
at
Cal.
the water, when do you do that bit? At the end? 2 drops of water?
How do they get it to go so fast? You know how they really get it like
Yeah.
Is it a spin motion?
it's you know what it is? It's this bloody
I don't know.
orange that's in the way. It's too
Told us to add it in there, so I think this is the move. No? I don't know. That felt good.
we should drop a cherry in and the maple will come off into the drink. It might taste alright.
Cool. Drop them in.
Artsy. Let's
That
go.
looks pretty good.
I'm quite happy with that.
That looks nice.
I've got to lick the fingers a little bit because I've got so much cherry.
All right.
Awesome.
Just
Well,
leave the
Now we
orange in there.
enjoy.
yeah. I think that's good. All right, cheers, boys. Cheers.
All right. Well, cocktails, boys. How do we find them? I'm
Nice maple cherry citrus fusion going on.
yeah.
Great job on the oranges, man. Really.
The oranges actually,
job.
yeah, they did well. I'm quite happy with that. Tyler, you brought some things with you today. Do you wanna tell us what you've got in the bag?
Very ad hoc sort of collection. I brought our audio interface that we use to record. So yeah, it's pretty much we can take this around, and I guess we don't really have a studio space at the moment, so we kind of just go to someone's house and record stuff. Like we're very sort of bedroom
Yeah.
pop.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's just like we can really
Setup's
do it
pretty
anywhere.
hybrid.
Like we started off sort of going to studios, and we actually used the Griffiths studios on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
For our first few singles, but I think as we went, we slowly just stopped caring
Yeah.
about. Well, it just sounded kind of like there
Not
wasn't
caring, but
noticeable
realizing you
difference.
didn't really have to have the top end sort of gear. You could actually
Yeah.
make do with a lot less.
Yeah.
Be a lot more creative that way as well.
100%.
I feel like a lot of artists kind of do it like that
Mm.
nowadays, and maybe that's why maybe that's why there is so much music out there at the moment. It's just like the door to entry has kind of been
Broken down.
broken down. People can just
Yeah.
like jump straight in and do it from their phones even. like
That's
as
it.
you
It's
said,
super
so-
accessible now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just anyone can if they have enough, passion and they want to make something. It's so easy now.
Mm.
Our first song as well, like Tyler just showed me something he made on GarageBand off his phone and just like
Yeah.
put it up to my ear. And
That's
we just
all.
went from there as well. So
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I saw on your Sunday Selects series that you put up Tora's album. I think Take a Rest. Yeah.
I was listening to that on the way here.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's amazing. Because I know you mentioned that it was you sort of captioned that it was the glue that brought you all together. So do you guys want to maybe talk about what that album meant to you?
When we were at the Griffith Studios making that first song that he showed me on his phone, I felt like we were like hitting a wall, like weren't getting where we wanted to get to. And I wasn't actually part of the group at this point. They just said, "Do you want to help us make this song?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And I'm trying to help and stuff, and I felt like we're hitting this wall. And then Tyler goes like this and shows me one of the songs from that album, and I was like,
Awesome.
I know exactly what you're after. Yeah. And from that moment, the whole song was just like done so quickly. It just started flowing from there.
Perfect.
And it was just realizing that they were going for something that I'd been listening to for months and months and months. And it was like 2 weeks after that, I was like, I'd love to be able to like join this project you got going on, because I just feel like it just is everything I'm like into at the moment. So yeah, it really was the glue that brought us together.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think like before Callum joined, I think Braxton and I, because Callum's a producer, Braxton and I didn't really have those skills. And I think all of our music was kind of very sort of guitar heavy, like indie pop, in the sense of just like not thrashy, but kind of just fun little guitar, bass, garage sounding music.
I get a little bit of because some of the guitars are a bit plucky. I get a little bit of maybe like older San Cisco in some of the guitars. Yeah, but
yeah, the fact that you said San Cisco is perfect.
Oh,
That's
really?
Exactly what
It's
I would
in-
have categorized.
Yeah,
when I
wow,
first heard
cool.
the demos they had.
Yeah. And I guess meeting Callum, Braxton and I really liked sort of Tora's vibe and how they sort of incorporate so many layers and different synths and stuff like that. And it felt very like, it sounded very fresh to us. And I think we wanted to like make music like that, but we couldn't really do it. So obviously Callum's a super talented producer, and
Absolutely.
I kind of showed Callum that Tora song, and I said, this is kind of where we want to get to in terms of like the type of instruments we want to have and like the rhythms and that sort of thing. And yeah, I think that just kind of put us on track and felt really exciting for Callum as well. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
for sure. I was just like, oh, this is I know what to do. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
What else we got going on here?
Well, I also have a mic. This is actually one we've only recently started using. We've been using the SM7B for pretty much the whole of Dace's career. But yeah, I just liked how my voice sounded on this one, so we've kind of started to use that one.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap. I got it at Cash Converters actually.
Oh wow,
$89. So
that's a steal.
on a budget, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
the
is
last
on a
thing
budget.
I have is my insulated water bottle.
That is a big old water
Yeah,
bottle.
I really like water, and I can't leave the house without it. So
Yeah,
that's a prized possession of mine.
100%. No, I'm the same. I can't live without it either.
Yeah,
But not one that big. Maybe I'll have to
No,
invest
yeah.
in a big
Mine
one.
probably
it's
sits
worth it. Yeah,
Does that get you through a day, or are you refilling that?
I'm refilling it constantly.
True.
Exactly.
Nice.
I need a bigger one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to talk just while Tyler's doing that. I do want to talk about your sound a little bit more, because when I hear it, it's and I guess the genre. You know, you speak of Tora, of course. I know you get compared to Hone a little bit.
Yeah.
Hone, am I saying that right?
I think it's Hon.
Hon?
Yeah.
Okay. Pronunciation. Hon. I also hear a little bit of rice wine in there. It's a very new sound. You know, looking back in the years, you don't find a lot of, you know, maybe before the 2010s even, you don't find a lot of music that's in that area. So for you guys, what I want to know is, do you take much inspiration from older music and the stuff you grew up on, or is it more contemporary sounds that you feed off?
I think it's always been a bit of a mix. Like we all really like the Beatles.
Yeah.
Awesome.
like
Favorite
Pink-
album?
Oh,
Ooh, that's hard.
yeah, it's kind of
There's a lot,
I
It's
do
really-
like
yeah.
Magic Mystery Tour is a great one. Tyler got me onto Rubber Soul.
Yeah.
Like when I joined the band, I didn't really listen to them much at all. But
Put you
I'll
on.
listen to that album, sorry, much at all. But yeah, Rubber Soul is really cool. And Abbey Road's the first one I had on vinyl.
Classic.
That's a good album.
But yeah, like Pink Floyd. I think there were a few like older artists that we all sort of connected on, and I think a lot of those artists kind of like bend genres a little bit and kind of go in and out of different sort of vibes and like experiment a lot. And I feel like we sort of took from that a lot with Daste in terms of where we were going and like wanting to do different things and not kind of sitting inside one, like not boxing ourselves into something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think it's a good mix between contemporary and older artists. For
I
sure.
see the difference as well as the older influences sort of experiment with the theory of the music itself, like the key changes and things like that, because they obviously didn't have the technology to be experimenting with sound as much. And there are bands that did experiment with sound, but you sort of take those influences, like how can we like experiment with like key changes and subtle little things like that the naked ear wouldn't really pick up on as much.
Yeah.
Whereas the sonic experimentation comes from the modern artists.
Do you have any earliest memories of music? What do you know what that would be for you guys as little kids?
I think because my dad's a drummer, so He's
So
like
you're all around.
pretty much, yeah. Like he sort of tried to get me onto it really early. Like I have pictures of me just kind of like banging away.
Bashing away, yeah.
So yeah, I think the earliest memory would be just like my dad trying to teach me drums and me sort of telling him, yeah, I know. Like, you know?
Yeah, awesome.
And then he stopped trying to teach me because I like thought that I knew everything, which isn't true.
But when you're a kid.
Yeah.
I used to just sit on the lounge floor, and Dad had like his amp sort of set up with big speakers, and in the middle closet would be like CDs and CDs and CDs and stuff. So a lot of the Beatles. He loved the Eagles as well.
Eagles, yeah.
Creedence Clearwater was in there as well,
Yeah.
and then influences from like older brothers and sisters and stuff. They used to get the old Ministry of Sound CDs at Christmas.
Oh my god, Ministry of Sound. I haven't heard that in a little while.
So
That's
I used
awesome.
to go through those like
Yeah.
compilations, and So Fresh as well.
So
back in
fresh.
the day.
You make your music in a very dynamic way that no one really has like any one particular role. It's all like you all kind of take a bit of a producer role, and it's very free flowing. I wanted to hear what you guys thought about that process and how the three minds and obviously all of your different ideas and inspirations, how that culminates and what that process is like, you know, to get to the point where we hear the final product.
Yeah, I guess at the start it was more sort of defined in terms of like what we were doing. I guess for the first song, it's like your role is what you did in that song,
Yeah.
and then it sort of started to expand. But in terms of like all producing, I think I just like ever since I met Callum and started like working on music with Callum, I've kind of just been like a sponge sitting next to him, trying to like soak up all of the knowledge from Callum, so I can contribute in that way as well. But I guess like before being able to produce as well, it was more just like being able to communicate with Callum, like, and it goes like this, and it's like it's very. I use my hands a lot when I'm trying to explain, like, for him to do something on the computer,
Yeah.
like production wise.
You're the conductor and he's the orchestra.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. It's like he can only understand my weird sort of language that I'm trying to speak to Callum, and then anyone else in the room is like, "What is wrong with
What's
this guy?"
going on? Is that how it's become? You sort of all have a bit of a language you speak to each other now. That's
I feel
very
like we can sort of understand each other in the way we try, like, illustrate our ideas and stuff like that. Use food a lot as well. Use food references a lot to sort of explain if something's a bit too heavy or something like that.
Needs a
Like-
bit more salt, you know.
Oh yeah, I get you.
I feel like that's changed like as the years have gone by. Like it's gotten to a point now, like Tyler's just knows what he's doing. If he's got an idea, I can just jump off the hot seat, let him jump in, like sort of just rotate like that. And like from my perspective, I've been able to take on things that they were able to do that I couldn't necessarily do when I first started, like singing and writing and stuff like that. So taking a lot of their skills on board and been able to adapt to that. So
Yeah.
as time's gone on, we sort of learnt from each other.
Yeah, amazing.
So we're probably at our most dynamic phase now, where everyone's really good at everything. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I did want to talk about one more thing, and you mentioned that this is probably the most dynamic that you're at as a band. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the evolution of your sound. I know you mentioned too, Tyler, a lot of artists go through phases, and with your music, are you aware of those little changes as you're going through the path and making the music? And if so, like, how does that feel for you guys? And also on that, with the release of Butterfly, where do you see that evolution going in future projects?
I think like you touched on the palette EP, I think we're definitely experimenting a lot in that sort of phase. The EP we dropped after that, Same as It Ever Was, that's when we decided to like try and use the same instruments throughout the whole EP, and like really kind of, I guess I was saying before, we like don't like to put ourselves in a box, but we kind of did put ourselves in a box for that one, just so we could like, I don't know, make something that sounded sort of consistent and like it's like we were just playing this little set as an EP. And I think for Dusk and Dawn, it kind of kept a little bit of both of those. Like we went back to experimenting a bit, but then we also kind of kept what we learned from Same as It Ever Was, which was keeping it the same throughout. And
because the album had like two sides to it. That's the way we pitched it. It was the Dusk and the Dawn side, so you can definitely hear that sonically, I think, with Home for Tea and Here With Me being on the
Dusk
side,
at the start. Yeah.
So it has like a bit of a rawness to it that you'd probably relate to Same as It Ever Was. And then you move on to songs like Expectations that were a lot more experimental and stuff you probably relate to the palette.
For sure. Yeah.
But, you get into a little bit of a conflict with that, I reckon, because it's like you don't want to box yourself in, but then you also want to come up with some sort of consistency in some sort of way that you don't want to be like that band that's like wait, what are they? Because you're doing this and you're doing that, and like you said, like flipping the script, going from Dusk and Dawn then to Butterfly, you can sort of throw your followers off a little bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can
definitely.
kind of get into a bit of a conflict with yourself with it. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say where we're sort of at. Just sort of make what
we
comes
like.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess for the future, like I don't know, it is kind of experimental. I think what you said with Butterfly does feel like a bigger change from Dusk and Dawn. I feel like it is even more changes for some of the other songs that we have kind of in the bank at the moment. They're just like,
It's exciting.
not like, I feel like they sound dasty, which is a term that we use a lot. Like, is something dasty or not?
Tasty.
But
you wouldn't necessarily put them on the same album or EP.
yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't fit on any of the EPs we've done before. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting, the stuff that we kind of have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's all how all the best ones do it, where you can always hear the sound. It's all straight away it's the same person, but when you travel through, their discography, you can hear how it's the same but different at the same time. So yeah, that's super exciting to hear that you guys are on that wavelength as well, and we're all super excited to hear what comes next. But we're almost out of time, so in terms of the immediate future, what is coming up for Daste?
Well, I guess we haven't got any like concrete plans for when we're going to release the songs, but I'd say maybe there'll be a song or two this year.
Amazing.
Hopefully. But we're really wanting to play a lot more live shows as well. I think that's something we've been trying to get back into, because we've always been a bit like stop and go with our shows. Like, we'll do a lot of shows in one period and then like stop for a while, completely change the set, like rearrange everything, come back, and I was just always changing. So I think we're just gonna like get a good set, get a good live show, and sort of like keep going with it, and so people know what to expect from Daste show. And I think we've achieved that. So
you've got a few shows coming up, don't you?
We have a
festivals as
springtime,
well,
springtime on the Gold Coast, which should be really cool. And we also have this little like Twilight Markets show on the Gold Coast as well.
Nice.
Which is an interesting one, but we thought it'd be like a good opportunity to sort of strip back our music and play a few songs that we don't usually play in our live set that are maybe a bit too slow for festivals and stuff like that.
It's always a good opportunity though to
show
something else up.
Show those songs some love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they deserve it.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a ton of fun making the cocktails and having a chat today, so we very much appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Great. I hope you enjoyed the very first episode of our Bartales at the Outpost series. If you want to see more, please leave a like, comment if there's anyone you want to see us talk to. And that's it, guys. So,
cheers.
Yeah, cheers.